So, Nate, I mean, this is like the three of us. It's been 10 weeks of doing shows from our basements. Are we getting comfortable in our basements? Put today aside for Tim. Generally, are we getting comfortable in our basements? Nate, you go first.
Yeah, I believe we are. You know, in these weird times, we've kind of found peace in isolation. And if you're working jobs where you can actually work from home, there is a little bit of a comfort level and a space of complacency I'm falling in. You know, I take a 45-minute commute into New York, and then I take a 45-minute commute back. And if I have traffic, it's going to take me hour 15, hour 30. And I oftentimes find so much wasted time by me trying to catch a cat nap, catch up on life, trying to catch up on emails. And I feel like I'm always playing catch up. I don't know how you guys feel, but me, I wake up at 5:15 instead of 4 a.m. I walk downstairs, I get ready for my show. And then as soon as I'm done with my post-show meeting, I'm headed right back upstairs. And I find myself in a position I've never been in. I'm like, oh, I got energy. So I guess maybe I can work out. And I got to be completely transparent. I haven't had that feeling in years. Like I usually come home and I'm just dad. You know, I eat what I want and I stare down at my stomach and I'm like, is it that bad? Nah, it's cool. And then I just hang out with the kids. So, but now I'm like, I don't know. There's something about being at home around your family most of the time and still being able to collect a check, which we're all blessed to do with as many people that are impacted by this negatively. I do find myself becoming more comfortable with my basement.
Can we talk some football, Sydney?
Please.
Are you good with that?
Oh, well, we've been talking football for the last 10 weeks, kind of, right? Like this has kind of kept everybody going.
We have. Listen, reports surfaced that Dak Prescott turns down a 5-year deal at $35 million per season. Reports surfaced a little later that denied the initial reports that surfaced about a 5-year, $35 million per season offer from the Cowboys to Dak Prescott. And then there was talk about a $45 million fifth season. There seems to be a lot of information or misinformation being reported on Dak's negotiations with the Cowboys. I realize that this is a welcome to 2020, but how much of this kind of stuff is offside in your mind, Nate Burleson?
I believe the whole situation is, you know, usually negotiations are pretty transparent, but this one seems to be muddied up. Like even when Kirk Cousins was doing the back-to-back franchise deals, I think he paid $25 million, and then he locked in that 90-something million, most of it guaranteed with the Minnesota Vikings. I almost felt like I knew every step of the way. With Dak, I'm stuck trying to figure out what Jerry Jones is doing, and it's even more confusing because you hear all these different reports, right, which basically contradict each other. But then if you think about what led up to this, it's like DeMarcus Lawrence deal got done, boom, right away. Jalen Smith deal got done, boom, right away. Ezekiel Elliott, come back from Cabo, we need you to play running back. Deal done right away. Amari Cooper, deal done. It seems like, and I know deals work over time, they're not overnight, but in the sense where there were negotiations, we heard about negotiations, and then boom, a contract pops up. It just seems like it's so difficult with Dak, which I don't get because I said it before to you guys. I said it while I was in studio. There's a bunch of $100 million quarterbacks that haven't done what Dak Prescott has done in the first few years of his career. And yet it seems like everybody wants to tell Dak, hey, yo, the buck stops here. You know, you should give him a hometown discount. You know, hey, listen, do what Brady did for all them years. You know, Dak, man, if you really think about it, Russell Wilson won it on his rookie deal and Pat Mahomes on his rookie deal and Carson Wentz on it. What I'm trying to tell you is, you know, when you get that second deal, that big one that really handcuffs your team, I feel like everybody's trying to whisper to Dak. It's like, no, Dak, make as much money as you can. And this isn't being dismissive to what's going on around the globe with people out of work, but Dak Prescott has put himself in a position to earn a certain contract. Whether every quarterback is overpaid moving forward, because we already feel like guys are getting ridiculous contracts, why does Dak Prescott have to sit back and say, all right, because I have a star on my helmet, I'm going to give you a discount? First of all, that's putting trust in the team. You're saying, I'm going to give a discount so you guys can have some extra money. How do I know you guys are going to spend that money wisely? Secondly, like I said on the show earlier today, is some of these guys aren't locking down deals because they're living in the moment. Dak Prescott is going to be on the long list of line of quarterbacks that the Dallas Cowboys make money off of for the next 20, 30, even 100 years. Like people ask me, what does Pat Mahomes deserve? I said, 40 million plus? Nate, that's ridiculous. Come on, 40. That's resetting the market and some. That's facts plus tax. I'm like, yeah, of course, because Pat Mahomes is so good. He already has a Super Bowl. He is so good that if he's trending in the same direction the rest of his career, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. And not to mention, 80 years from now, there's going to be Upper Deck cards and Gatorade commercials and all these different brands that he's going to be making money off of, not to mention the Kansas City Chiefs that will be reselling his jerseys and showing his highlights and bringing in revenue based off his last name and what he did in that jersey. So guys are getting paid for future benefits that the team, the NFL, will continue to make.
Nate Burleson here on Tim's Luchador emoji and Sid on Sportsnet 360 and Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Nate, the moment I realized this was gonna go late, this negotiation, and it might not, but my feeling really grew in terms of the Dak Prescott negotiation is going to run its course when everyone basically got paid around Dak, and Jerry's going to have the nerve to have a yacht draft. When I saw the yacht, I'm like, there's no way Dak didn't see that and say, oh, bleep this. Like, don't do that. Don't pay Amari and don't pay Zeke and have this kind of this little pitter patter of a negotiation go on, and then you're going to yacht me. You're gonna like bad guy from Austin. What's the Mike Myers
Jerry
film?
Jones, Little Yachty.
I mean, you can't
Austin
do that.
Powers.
Thank you, Austin Powers. I've been in my basement too long. Austin Powers. The second I saw that, I'm like, this is going to be a while.
Yeah, it's also like playing a little bit of the movie villain on the yacht, but it's also like, hey, you spending money on a yacht, fam? Like, come on, I just want a couple extra million. You got $1 million floating on the water. And that reminds me of a story, and I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time, but talking about seeing something and then that being a sign that things aren't going to go according to plan. This was some years ago. I was still in the NFL, and I was going to invest in this genius idea, or at least what I thought at the time. And it was called the Bar Master, which basically it measured how much was in a bottle of liquor. So when you pick that bottle of liquor up, there's a scale that it sits on, and then this little top that measures how much is poured, because so much money is lost, like hand exchange with cash at the bar. And because I own a restaurant, I knew it and I got it. I understood it. I'm like, this is literally going to revolutionize the way that restaurants work their bar. You know, and I remember going to Vegas. These guys who ran this company, right? They flew all these investors in. They convinced me, like, yo, we're going to send you a private jet. I don't do private jets. So I'm like, sure. So I'm on there with other investors. And yeah, some people there that made my money look small. I mean, people that own like half of Santa Clara. Like, it was crazy. So I'm sitting there in this meeting, right? And I'm looking at baller, real estate mogul, actor, actress. Like, it was heavy. And I was like, wow, this is cool. Like, I'm going to be part of this group. And once this product hits, I'm going to be part of that long list of people that, like, they were in on the beginning. And then we go out that night because they got us all rooms, flew everybody in. And I didn't really start to think about the cost of this whole weekend until we were at the club. So we're at the club kicking it. And he had everybody there paying for all these bottles. And I was just kind of blown away by how much this might cost. And at the end of the night, I went in and leaned in like, hey, man, I appreciate you, man. Listen, I'm looking forward to this thing launching. I can't wait. He's like, yeah, hold on for a second, Nate. Don't leave. I have to tell you something. He gets the check. He's signing the check. And I couldn't help. I was nosy in that moment. I was like, let me see how much he's spending right now. And it was an $89,000 check at this club. Yep. And immediately, it was like, I went from having this like good old time to feeling like I'm in an episode of American Greed. And I was like, okay, so if we're all investing money, like, why is he spending this money when our money is supposed to go to the product that we're trying to launch? And it was like the end of Usual Suspects. You know, I dropped my glass.
Yeah,
like,
he starts walking normal. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So, you know, I think Dak Prescott seeing Dak on a boat is kind of like, listen, this is a bad sign, because that's what I felt like. And after that, listen, once you hit so many red flags, like Zeke getting paid, Jalen Smith getting paid right away, and you being on the market and seeing all these guys in the league getting paid, it's like a red flag after red flag after red flag. At some point, Dak, I know he feels appreciated because he's a company guy, but at some point he has to feel like, will I be playing in a different jersey? You know, with all these conversations going on with Aaron Rodgers and them drafting Jordan Love, like Dak is seeing the business for what it is. He's like, this is like NFL rolling over, waking up next to him, and he's like, "Ooh, I didn't know you look like this with your makeup off." Okay, well, I guess we gonna be in a relationship then, because I gotta love you while you look like this and when you made up. So I feel like Dak is in a unique position because really he's the ultimate decision maker.
So you're telling me that the NFL has turned into Will Smith and Martin's wife locked in a room, and she's taking off the fingernails and handing them to him?
yeah, exactly.
Asking if he wants a breath mint. Let me ask you this, because it always seems like when it comes to Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, and I love that I'm going to call Jerry Jones Little Yachty from now on, but do you ever like find yourself thinking that guys will be turned off of that franchise? Because even though Zeke got done, and even though Amari it was done in the public's eye, and this feels like it feels like dirty laundry. And I wonder if you ever went through an experience when you were playing where you read stuff in the media and you're like, where in the good name of Nick Cizikas did they get this from? And I don't want to deal with these people anymore.
That was a good pull right there. For me, I had these moments throughout my career where contract negotiations were going on, and they were all done behind closed doors. Jerry does it the opposite. Like it's almost like he's almost one of the players. He's one of the superstars. He's one of the characters. So he wants people to also see him moving and shaking, which I can appreciate. When you run in a business, you're going to understand that it's going to end with me and it's going to begin with me. But when you start putting out the numbers to contradict what an agent is doing, that's when it seems like you're being counterproductive. And I'm not saying Jerry specifically. He also has a finance team. He also has a coaching staff. He has a bunch of individuals, the medical staff sitting there talking about that. They're all trying to figure out the best way to make the proper investment. I think because of the Dallas Cowboys being who they are, which is, I believe, valued at a little over a $5 billion company or an organization, that's the main reason why guys won't be turned off. It's I love relationship analogies, and I love trying to bring in our conversations to something that people relate with. It's kind of like if you understand the Dallas Cowboys, they come with the notoriety, they come with attention. It's like dating a superstar. You know what I'm saying? It's like dating that really pretty famous girl, but you always know the paparazzi is going to be around, and you're just going to have to deal with that. So that's kind of what I feel like players approach each team with. Some teams, it's like that being in the NFL, every woman is beautiful. If they're all women, they're all beautiful. But if it's like the Buffalo Bills, it's that hometown girl that you met next door that you really didn't think she was gonna grow up like that. You like, oh Tanya, is that you? What, girl? You done grew up. That's the Buffalo Bills. But you date someone like the Cowboys, it's like Kardashian. You're always gonna be in the news. People are always gonna talk about you, and your business is gonna be out there. So Dak Prescott finds himself in bed with one of the most popular organizations of all time. And that's why the finances, they seem like they're just being thrown around and they're not even really paralleling each other.